Hey guys, Kurt here of NK Garage, and today we're in the shop with our Chief of Engineering. Meet Bean. Bean is one of Nick's cats. She's a good girl. She likes machinist tools, so she's here in the shop today, hanging out. So we did a tool haul, another machinist tool haul. This one is a $100 budget machinist toolbox with tools haul. So boxes are back here, and we got a whole table full of tools. I laid out everything nicely so we could go through it in a nice, efficient manner. Both of the boxes are unbranded as far as I can tell. The metal one on the right has been repainted, so you could see they just even oversprayed over the latches. The paint quality itself is actually pretty good for, somebody just doing a home paint job. Actually don't see any peeling or anything. There's no uh, paint running or excessive orange peel. I don't know if they painted the inside. That might be original. The box is lined with this probably fake leather, but it's pretty nice. All the drawers work nicely. There's nothing left in here just because I got everything out, just to show you guys the tools. We don't have the key. We do have the front cover plate, and there was even a second latch somebody added on at some point because they probably lost the first key. And the other box over here is an older vintage wooden machinist box. The top is lined with this cork material. Somebody did that themselves. And I don't know if this is homemade or just really old. The outside of the box is wrapped in this vinyl or some kind of covering, black covering, and it's all made out of wood. So it's pretty cool. Comes with the cover plate. Also don't have the key for that one as well. So let's dive into the tools and see what we got. We'll start up here. At the top left, we have some Starrett feeler stock, various sizes. So these two have been, somebody took the other half of them. Got 3,000s, 4,000s. These two I can't read. This one's 10,000s. Just a couple extra pieces. We do have some already, but this will just add to our stock. We have a drill gauge here made by PEC, number 5052. Nice heavy duty drill gauge. Those are always handy to have. Got this little caliper here, USA made by Dixon, and it has a little lever on here, so you can actually lock it. It's pretty sturdy, so I like that. I think we'll keep that around. Got this little pouch for a bunch of little rulers and ruler depth gauges. They're all USA made out of stainless steel. Various brands, nothing too impressive in there, but there's about 4 of them in there. We've got some small precision rulers here. We have a Brown and Sharp 6-inch with a pouch. The next one here is another 6-inch. This one is Jordan, Germany. We've got a 3-inch, a 2-inch, and a 1-inch ruler. Top one is LS Starrett. The 2-inch is Brown and Sharp, and the one on the bottom is a Lufkin. So those are pretty cool. Might just have to keep those around for coolness factor. I'm not sure what you use a 1-inch ruler for, but I mean, if you're working on really small parts, it might come in handy. We have some drill gauges here. The American Caliper Co., LS Starrett, Craftsman, and then there's a Starrett holder here with a 59-degree drill point gauge. Got a Lufkin radius gauge, 1/8 inch. Is the only radius gauge I found. Got these 2 gauge blocks. So they have 3 different dimensions on them. We got 1 inch, 750 thou, and 1 inch and 200 thou. So pretty cool. Nice matching set. It's definitely a keeper for us. We have a combination square here. This one is marked Enderes. Nderes. I've never seen that one before. There's some pretty good pitting going on here. There's no mark of where it was made, and I've never heard of Enduras. The combination square tools here, unmarked, so we have 3 of them. I couldn't find any maker's marks or country of origin on them. I'll come around. We'll take a look at some calipers and micrometers, dividers, all that sort. We have an Ellis Starrett um, inside caliper, pretty nice one. I don't see a model number on it. Next one here could be unbranded. I'm looking. I'm giving it a chance to show off its glory, but I think it's just an unbranded little inside caliper. We have a J. Stevens, another inside caliper. Got 2 outside calipers. The larger one here is a Craftsman, made in USA, and the smaller one is an Ellis Starrett. And then we got this Brown and Sharp 835. I don't know the technical term for this one. I know there's a term for it. I just can't remember. We have 2 0 to 1 inch Ellis Starrett micrometers. Probably going to keep one for myself for my own shop. The other one will probably go up on eBay. We already have 2 here in our shop, so we don't need any excess there. We have a 1 to 2 inch Goodwill Pratt Company micrometer. Got 2 tap wrenches here. The one on the bottom is unbranded as far as I checked everywhere. I couldn't see any markings. The one on the top is marked OK. It's a USA made. I don't know the rest of the name of the company. I mean, I've seen the OK stamp before. I just don't know any more information about them, really. We got this box of KD snap ring plier points. There's a good amount of them in there. Definitely good to have. We have a bunch, but it's always good to have more of those. We have a surface plate stand here. If there's a technical term that I should be calling it other than that, but under this tabletop here, the wood table comes off and there's a surface plate down there, cast iron surface plate. So we don't have a stand, so that is going to be definitely a useful tool for us. We haven't really used the surface plate much. Still needed one of these. Could probably use another one as well, as well as a set of gauge blocks would be really nice. We do have some angle plates, but we're still collecting the tools required. Up here we have a very vintage, old school dial indicator stand. This one is made by General, and the model number is 387. And I don't really think anybody uses these anymore. Noga designed a very good dial indicator stand a while back, and now those are all. You can get the Noga, a very good tool, or you can get the cheaper off-brand ones. With the dial indicator stand, we got an old school Federal dial indicator. So I cleaned up the plastic because you couldn't even read it before, but I cleaned that up with Plastex and it actually came out pretty good. We have an adjustable hole saw here, possibly a homemade jig or just a cheap model, but this isn't something that's very hard to make in a machine shop, so kind of has that shop-made look to it. We have 2 of these, I don't know if you call them knockout punches or hole saws, but the one on this side is 1 1/8 inch diameter, Greenlee Tool Company, and the smaller one is made by Seekonk USA, and got 3/4 diameter. Over here we have a selection of what we were told were extension extenders. So basically they're metal rods. Some of them are threaded on both sides. 2 of them are just threaded on one side. And then you have these threaded on both sides little, I'll just call them coupler nuts for lack of a better term. We're still looking into exactly what those are for, but kind of cool to have. This is an oyster knife. Not sure what the guy was using it for, but R. Murphy, Ayer Mass, made in USA. And apparently this is for oysters. So, I mean, it's not uncommon that items from the kitchen drawer end up in a guy's toolbox, but, that's a first one for me. Normally you see a steak knife or something like that. On the top right, we got some reading material. So, you can find most of this information online. It's very available, but when we're working here in the shop, especially as a hobby machinist, I kind of like to get away from the internet and the cell phones and all that. So it's nice to be able to just refer to a handheld manual. This one is made by Valenite Metals, handy reference. And this whole thing here is actually all labeled. You can barely read it. It's just covered in probably cutting fluid, grease, grime, and just aged over time. The price was $1 back in the day. But it's got all these sections in here with a lot of really good information, and all this stuff is still relevant today. So, you got information on inserts here, type of operations for your carbide inserts. We do a lot of carbide inserts here. Tool blanks, speeds and feeds for turning. More speeds and feeds. There's a problem and cause, kind of solution little thing. So if you're having problems with your whatever you're doing in the shop, there's some good information in here to see if you can possibly figure out why you're getting a bad surface finish or chipping a carbide or such. More stuff about, speeds and feeds, and there's rake angles. In the back, I was looking yesterday, and there's a lot of diagrams and stuff and charts for all important stuff. This has all got to do with trigonometry, sine, cosine, tan. Really good information in here. So here's some handy formulas. That was one of the cool things I was looking at yesterday. Good stuff. I didn't really pay attention or remember a lot of that stuff from high schools, and I guess I'll just have to relearn it all. We have some US to metric converting charts here. Um, this stuff, you could easily just type in the computer on Google and it'll spit you out an answer, but now you don't have to pull out your cell phone or your computer. Drill and tap selector. We've got Starrett decimal equivalents. We already have one of these, actually. You can get these from the Starrett website. They'll ship them right to you for free. Morse cutting tools. And some decimal equivalents here. This is very important to have. This one's pretty aged, but it really makes me think that I should probably get on the internet and print a couple of nice, clean, easy to read copies, post them around the shop. Just always needing to transfer fractions into thousands. Various sharpening stones. There was a lot more little giblets. I just kind of threw them out. They were just really tiny little pieces that are all messed up. We get a lot of these with a lot of the toolboxes we buy, so, and in used condition, they're practically worthless, but we keep the good ones around, and I'll usually sell all the ones that we don't want in, just lots, just on eBay. They don't sell for much, but a couple bucks plus shipping. File holder. Got one of these. Two-way nibbler blade. Never seen that before. I guess Bean is interested in that one. I guess she likes nibbling, right? Down here we got two small files. Got an unbranded reamer. We have an extractor. Small amount of drill bits. One tap. A couple various punches. This one's made by Ryan. We have a Craftsman. And this one is Lufkin. So, pretty used, reprofiled. This was interesting. It's like a scribe point, but it's indexable. So, kind of cool. Next item here is a broken tap extractor. Keep that around. They're good to have. Just needs a little bit of work. The tabs are a little bit bent, so I'm hoping we can kind of just fix that up. This one I need your help with. It's marked GTD, and it's marked 3/16 high-speed steel. And I just don't know what this is for, but I really want to know. So, any machinists out there, let me know. And this is a magnet with a spring and like a center punch on it. So, that, and then there's this like locking collar here. does got some writing on here. It says WWT, and there's a plus up here in this triangle, and there's a part number 489459. It's very hard to read, so that could be wrong. Let me know if you know the purpose of this tool. That is it for the tool haul today. Our favorite picks, definitely going to be the surface plate stand. The little mini rulers I think are super cool, 1, 2, and 3 inch. I'm super happy to have those. I was actually pretty happy to get these gauge blocks too. We've been procrastinating on buying, one of those cheap gauge block sets because we just feel like one of these better sets is going to pop up one day with one of these tool hauls. The old school drafting tools are pretty cool. Micrometers are always awesome to find, especially good brands like these. So let us know what you think your favorite find of the day is. Toolboxes are also pretty cool. For $100, we were basically looking at it for the items included rather than the toolboxes. Probably going to resell the 2 toolboxes on Facebook just to recoup some of the investment. And then we got some cool tools out of it and a little bit of a fun experience. The guy we bought it from, his full-time job, he parts out lathes. So he buys 2 lathes a week. He also buys milling machines and surface grinders, drill presses, stuff like that occasionally if he gets them for a really good deal. But mainly what he focuses on is old school, vintage lathes. And he brings them in. He buys them for $300 to $500 usually. He brings them in his shop and he just parts them out.
Primarily South Bend and Rockwell.
He is primarily into South Bend and Rockwell. And that's probably because those are very popular for home machinists that buy these used lathes and need replacement parts. So it's definitely a viable business for him. He makes a living out of it. He's got a lot of stuff, a lot of parts. He gets a lot of tools too. He sells a lot on eBay. He said he normally doesn't sell anything unless it's over $100 because it's just not worth his time. It was pretty cool seeing his shop. So all of this stuff is not what he specializes in. He is into the heavy-duty lathe parts. He doesn't like buying lathes in good condition unless they're really cheap, which is hard to find. So he buys beat-up lathes that the ways are all shot, and he takes the good parts out and does it that way. So it was a cool experience meeting him. Super cool guy, really cool shop. He's got you walk into his garage and it's like a museum. He's got all these pristine condition lathes. One of them it was an old Rockwell, came out of the World Trade Center that he says has probably never been used. It's like brand new condition. Really cool. Beautiful. It was really awesome. And then all the other lathes were super impressive as well. So it was a really fun experience. $100 invested isn't a big deal. We get better deals than this sometimes, but I wouldn't say that this one's bad for any means. So that's it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching again, as always, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.